Okay, time to do some maintenance on my phone. Part 2A. I'm gonna have to add this separately. Um, Hopefully I get some more likes, subscribes. Maybe subscribe and tell me to, you know, get some revenue generating and buy a new phone, new camera. So ran out of space on the last video. It stopped recording. Couldn't tell you where. Didn't go back. Quickly, we added some extra clamps along the top just for countermeasure or counter clamping. We're gonna wipe this down, scrape off all this excess glue on the top, and then we're gonna let this set up for a day. Probably not that long, probably more like 12 hours. Long enough that I know if I send it through the planer, we'll be okay. Now, the one thing is my planer is only 12 and a half, but this one here is 13 and 3/8. So what I'm gonna have to do is put that template on, figure out what's waste, scrap, waste, um, cut that part out so that I can get it down to that 12 and a half, and I can send it then through the planer and continue the project on its way. None of this stuff is technically waste. The only part that is going to be wasted is where I have to trim it in order for it to go through the planer. When I do trim and I put this on, whatever's at the tail end of that flag, I'm going to cut off, not sacrificing, because this part could be used for something else, right? So think about that when you're doing your project and you're mapping it out. If you're making a large slab like this, or I'll show you like the wood behind us, factor in when you have to trim it to not trim all of it and potentially set yourself from not being able to have a full useful piece. So last night we glued up. Yeah. All right, here we go. We glued up our maple and walnut. Okay. I haven't scraped this yet. It's too early in the morning. Okay. But the point is that when we do the mountain shelf, this will be face, this will be inset. It's not going to have this lip. We're going to bring that down, but we'll get this nice and cleaned up for our customer. Repeat customer actually said, you know, I'd really like a mountain shelf. So looking forward to building that up. And you'll see that with all those extra lengths, if I need more maple with walnut face, I already have the sized walnut that I can laminate to maple and make more for the peaks or a shelf inside that project. So just to walk you through that. So it's probably going to end up as a short. It's going to be funny. I don't know how I'll title it, but you guys will get a kick out of it. Okay, I'm going to let this glue up. And if you ever want extra work light, don't forget. And Ryobi makes so many tools. People slam them, but man, look at this extra lighting. It illuminates me. Look at that picture quality, right? I wish they made clamps, you know, but. And then the last thing, and I'll close this out just so that it's longer than a few minutes because you guys are very interested in what we're doing. Again, don't forget to subscribe. I try to give you some tips along the way. If you want some more, by all means. I went to the future. I picked up Gray Sports Almanac. So far I haven't won any money. Just kidding. Just a notebook. Every project you do, write out, even if it's in rough, and trust me, not all of this is art gallery worthy. Write down your dimensions, how you decided the color of the project, whatever pertinent details for it. That's your documentation. If somebody comes back and says, hey, I'd like to build exactly that, you can at least get relatively close, okay? And I use just a paper clip just to hold it in place. Let's see here. So I'm going to show you an example. So here's old shutters, or I'm replacing the shutters. So just a rough sketch of what that's going to look like. And if you've seen any of the videos, or if you go over to our Instagram, you'll be able to tell or see those photos. When it came to the coffee table we made, I wasn't sure, where is it in here? It is in here. Same thing, coffee table, we made those dimensions, and I know it's in here because I put it in here. I can't find it. I did have 2 books at one time. No, here we go. So, nope, that wasn't it. Was it at the beginning? There we go. So, dimensions for the coffee table, right? Now, I can build the top, that's no problem, right? There's some simple things I didn't document that I wanted to keep custom. But what I did want to do is figure out the dimensions between the solid wood that was going to be painted for the oak inlay. And I wanted to have that information so that that's here. So yeah, if you take a screenshot or a still, you'll grab my intellectual property. And then of course the other one is useful. I also put my cost per board foot on material at the beginning or sometimes throughout, and I'll mark the page. The point is that when you are costing out a project for someone, if you can't quite remember, you can always flip to that page and you're not looking on your phone or something, especially if your phone is in the middle of doing a recording like this one is. So here's the mountain shelf, just a rough draw of what it's going to be. I was fortunate to receive what they want from an image, so I'm able to take that, re-engineer it backwards, and you know, it's 30-degree angles, it's 35 inches long, it's 15.8 inches high. I can figure out the rest from there. So okay, this will make this not a short video. Thank you. Subscribe. I love the fact you guys are watching. We're over 1,127 or 28 subscribers. You guys are amazing. Keep it going. Keep watching my video. If you want to see anything more that I'm not doing or doing, if you want to see how we select wood, let me know. We'll make a trip and we'll go do that. That is, of course, if they let me into the store to film. Kind of have to be careful with that, right? That's their property. But we'll make sure something happens. All right. Thank you. Subscribe, hit that bell so you'll get notified when I do upload more content, of course, and have a great day, and don't forget your vets.